welcome to the Mrs. Best Reviews channel. Let's welcome in James from the Watch Your
Hello,
Mouth.
hey everybody. How y'all doing? Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the video now. Subscribe to the channel.
Yes.
Show my girl some love.
We hope you subscribe to his channel as well. We will, I don't know when we'll be back on his channel, but
we'll be back on my channel Monday.
Oh, on Monday. That's not too far away. So we'll be back on James's channel on Monday, and we'll be going over, I believe, the Housewives of Atlanta, Somebody's Son, and is Love and Marriage
The second part reunion of Love and Marriage Detroit.
I'm hoping Family Empire Houston comes back. It's been a year.
Please come back, because I'm like, oh my gosh. I've never missed Aunt Nikki before in my life.
I can't stand you. But let's get into the value, you guys. This episode was titled Grapes of Wrath. I appreciate everybody for watching. I gained some subscribers from recapping this show, which always lets me know we're headed in the right direction. So thank you. I like seeing new shows do well, or at least get some type of views early on, because usually it takes like a half a season.
You know, with these new shows, we take these kind of chances.
That's the truth. It really is a chance. Now, y'all, we're going to start because Britt is still crying about Jax and his rage text. I am sick of her white girl tears. I'm sorry. Yes, that is how I'm starting it. Because she has the space away from him. He's in rehab. She is the one who asked him to go to rehab. And he gets his phone for 15-minute breaks. So it can't be as bad as she's making it seem just based on the ability for the phone. But Britt, you're choosing not to block him. I would say I'm going to block you until you're done with rehab. And if you want to know about your child, then your brother or sister or the grandparent, who Jax doesn't really talk to anyway, they can contact them. But I wouldn't have my child talking to a crazy man in rehab while I'm out on the winery. But I don't feel sorry for Brittany. I'm sick of it. I'm also sick of Michelle's complaints, because that's the other place this episode went in the very beginning, about Jesse and being on the trip. Honey, it's his trip. You didn't have to show up. You're almost divorced. Nobody is telling you to show up everywhere he goes. So before we move on to the group going to the winery, did you want to add anything thus far, James?
No, you said exactly my thoughts, because she's getting on my nerves with this whole him and this trip thing, and then she want to cry about, you know, him spazzing out and saying that's what I had to deal with in my marriage. And it was like, oh my God, girl, you are exhausting. Like, granted, you shouldn't have to go through it, but at the same time, it's like they probably knew he was no good when you got with him. So what the hell? Like, she's just exhausting, because it's kind of like she wants sympathy, and I don't have it for her. I just don't.
Nobody has sympathy for Brittany whatsoever. As for Michelle, I don't have sympathy either. They are both choosing to be around men that they are both choosing to not want to be with. But I have even less respect for Brittany, and even less of any type of energy to even think of feeling sorry for Brittany. Brittany, when she got with Jax, she knew that he wasn't shit. The whole friend group on VPR tried to warn her, down to Stassi, the ex-girlfriend. So she still chose to deal with him. She still chose. He cheated on her on that show as well, with Faith Stowers as well, which is part of what got him fired. So I'm not doing it no more.
Wait, he cheated on Brittany with Faith Stowers, or was it Stassi?
Yes, he cheated on Stassi with multiple other women, right? Several different bitches on the show as well, and some woman while he was on vacation in Vegas, because they used to do an annual trip in early seasons of VPR. But he broke up with Stassi. He broke up with Stassi, and then Stassi ended up leaving the show for a period after that, and then he got with Brittany. But when he got with Brittany, their friend Faith was still in the friend group. This was way earlier seasons, and he basically got caught up on camera on VPR, being caught trying to sleep with Faith, or it was recorded. Something crazy happened. He done cheated on her with everybody, though. So I'm like, girl, you had warning before he cheated. You flew out here. The first thing he did was pay for your titties. He's never treated you well. He's always treated you like you're dumb. He had to beg Vanderpump to even want to hire you, because she was such a dingbat. I don't feel bad for Brittany. She came up by any means necessary, and I think her family racist, but I digress. The group goes to a winery, and Jesse is already drunk, and they're on a little party bus, and the bus broke down. Now, for those who are like, oh, what the heck? This is ghetto. Until you have been in the southern part of California and or the valley during the summertime, shut the fuck up and put your cigarette out. Y'all don't understand the heat that could come to California. Half of the state is a desert.
And y'all have to understand, them kind of vehicles is under a lot of pressure.
Yep.
So that didn't surprise me whatsoever. Because someone was saying, "Oh, that's such a fake thing," because they had the Ubers waiting at the gas station. I said, "No, that ain't fake. That has happened. I have been on a situation where a bus has broken down on me."
It tells you when you're driving through that mountain as well. Like even when you're in a regular car, because I've driven through that mountain. My Mini Cooper, I had to change gears. I've done it through my Toyota. Had to change gears. People think that because the cars are automatic that you're not having to change gears for certain terrain.
Yep.
And you still do need to. That's all.
I don't even know how. I gotta know how to do it on my car pretty soon here tonight. So I'm like, shit. Do I even know how to put my car in the gear? Especially when I get the grapevine.
Let Gio guide this man. Jesus. But it's I do understand people saying it was fake, but the gas station was right there on the side of the road. We probably saw what probably took production some time driving both of them, all the cast back and forth down the hill. Luke looked at the car. And yes, if your car overheats, you can drive it. The best thing to do. Keep it slow. Don't accelerate a lot. And if you have to accelerate, turn on your heater and blast it. It releases the heat.
Yep.
Why
I've had a 1997 Pontiac Bonneville, and I had to learn that lesson.
I know from a Hyundai Accent I had years ago. It was a 2014, but it was a lemon. That car is not on my credit, thank God, because it was a lemon. They got in trouble. But then I sold cars as well, and yes, I was a used car salesman. That'll tell you, go on and turn that heater on, and we'll consider covering you under warranty. We ain't shit. But I love that the bus broke down. They still made it to the winery. Danny arrived later. And I love that he is the one man in the group, aside from Jason, that like really works. Like he was at Warner Brothers doing something with voice acting. That's like a secret life goal of mine, to do voice acting one day, but I'm too lazy to try. But I love that. I think it's cool. Side note. Going through this episode, Jasmine's talking about how her and Melissa have been together for 4 years. But in a previous live, Shayna was just talking about 9 months equals 9 years in lesbian relationships. So what the hell is 4 years and no engagement? What are they doing? 4 years? That's a long ass time to just be together. Please get married. It's legal here in California. Please get married. Moving on, y'all. Michelle gets a phone call from her daughter, Isabella, while they're sitting at the table as a group. And she gets up and away from the table. And then Jesse gets up and follows her as soon as he hears, "Hey, Isabella," come out of Michelle's mouth. And I'm like, y'all are not married. You are almost done with your divorce. There is no reason whatsoever that he should be getting up and interrupting that. That's also confusing to the child. And after she gets off the phone with Isabella, Jesse asks Michelle to talk things out. And of course, per usual, things did not go well. So it seems like Michelle just wanted an apology for him calling her a whore, aka hooker, however y'all want to call it. And he doubles down on calling her that again when she's like, "Don't you think you owe me an apology?" I said, Jesse, you are just a calmer version of Jax, but just as lethal, if not more dangerous, because he can seem to control his sobriety a little bit better than Jax. And that's just my personal opinion. Now, we then learned that people have been sending Jesse, because him and Michelle end up getting into it. They arguing like crazy people at these people's winery. If Black people was to act like this in a winery, I'd like to remind everybody, Black or not, that we would be painted as ghetto, trifling, not knowing how to act, or some type of ignorant stereotype. These white people act a fool in the winery, and it was just accepted. But okay. But one of the things Michelle hollers to Jesse is about him sending money, receiving money, and having money sent to him for their daughter that allegedly came from somebody who's gay. Why is that a big deal? Because Jesse is allegedly straight and all of these things. But he ends up pissing Michelle off that the other ladies come to get her. and they demand an apology from Jesse. He didn't really want to apologize. They had to coerce him into doing it. And he was trying to point at Brittany for getting into everyone else's business. But I'd like everyone to pay attention to how Brittany is so quick to defend Michelle and Jesse, who are both, no shade, known to be conservative on this show, known to be alleged and connected to people who are not the most positive as it relates to racial things. Brittany will happily defend Michelle and Jesse, but want to attack Nia and Danny. Which I know some people would be like, why would you say that? Because Danny acted a fool, but he apologized for it and has not done nothing since. So what is the problem? So I don't like how there's a double standard specifically with Brittany, and I'm watching her ass. I'm watching her. Let's keep it moving, you guys. James stepped away for a moment. So back at the house after the whole winery situation goes bad, Janet mentions Danny. Because she says that she went into a pantry of some sort and she saw Danny hiding and chugging tequila in the pantry. And this, for whatever reason, made Janet feel uncomfortable. Now, it really annoyed me. But once again, Jesse and Michelle go aside to talk. And this is where Jesse starts to say that he is angry at Michelle for telling everyone how happy she is in her new relationship. You're not married to her no more, Jesse. She can tell whoever she wants that she's happy in her relationship. And if you don't want to hear about it, then don't invite her. I don't understand it. Like the same way Michelle can choose to be away from him, he can choose to be away from her. But instead, he chooses to attack his child's mother. And when his child is an adult and sees how he behaved, your wife cheated on you. This is what Jesse's whole beef is supposed to be about, because the wife cheated on you. But you're divorcing now. So at some point, let it go. When someone cheats on you, you don't just berate them constantly. If you choose to stay, you work past it and forgive them. And if you can't do that, then you leave and divorce. They are getting a divorce. So I want Jesse to stop expecting this girl to dim her light when he couldn't keep her light lit while he had her. I don't understand it. I just do not. So she explains to Jesse, in retaliating to what he said, that Isabella, their daughter, who's only 3 or 4 or something young like that, is calling the new woman that Jesse was dating that threatened to sue Michelle, who he alleged last episode he had broken up with. Apparently, their daughter is calling this lady mommy, which is not okay. Until you marry somebody, they're not a step parent. They're not. Marry or adoption. Or they got to come out you naturally. Until then, they should not be calling anyone mommy or daddy who's not their mommy or daddy. That's confusing to a child. And it does show a lack of boundaries on Jesse's part, because why are you okay with your daughter calling a woman mommy and you ain't even divorced actual mommy yet? Like, what are you doing? So in my opinion, these two need a mediator, or that app that Brittany Renner and her baby daddy was using. Because him thinking that Michelle is a liar and cheater, which she may be, I don't want to just diminish everything he says, but him thinking and feeling that Michelle is a liar and a cheater has absolutely nothing to do with the care of their daughter. She is not bringing these people around her child. She is not having her child to call any other men daddy. So it's like, what is he doing? And he keeps trying to allege that she's a whore and saying all these crazy things. So she ends up throwing a drink in his face. And I'm like, this seemed like something he would use against her in court. And I feel like he's doing that on purpose to play with her for court. But Michelle, the best argument for a man like that is silence. If you done with him, baby girl, be done with him. When I'm done with something, I don't talk about it. I don't look towards it. I don't remember it. I move on. Why are we doing all of this? Because I bet you he'll try and use that in court. But James, how did you feel about her throwing the drink and that whole discussion that she had with her soon-to-be ex-husband?
I feel like for him not to see the issue of their baby calling a girl he's not even married to a mommy, or any woman for that matter, I feel like it's not only distasteful, it's disrespectful to the actual mom. And the fact that you have not created clear boundaries when you're not even knowing that you're serious with this person, it's like, what are you doing, sir? The other thing I want to point out, her throwing the drink, I feel like she needs to handle her emotions better. because you have a right to be upset, but you need to learn how to play the same games he plays. Because that's what's going to make it work in your favor, is when you play the same games he plays. He has not, harmed you in any way. He has not said anything to you that was like, I would say not blatantly disrespectful, but it wasn't formally disrespectful, if you get what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
So
yeah. He
I just
says shit that's off the wall and disrespectful and stuff that's like uncouth to say about the mother of your child or someone in your family, but he's not like saying it directly to her, or
right.
he makes sure that he's responding to something foul that she said. He's very manipulative,
Yeah,
and
and
she should
he's
know
very
that.
and he's calculated too. I have to give him that. He definitely knows how to work his room. Because if you
Mm,
didn't know any better, you would not think twice about him being the way he is. If you didn't know any better. So
mm.
I just
I
want
don't know.
her to just cut this out and stop being so emotionally drawn. Like, I get y'all were married, but the fact that you are so heavily basing all of these factors and trying to, paint him to be this, horrible gem, you're not making yourself look any better.
That's the truth. That's the honest to God truth. But they're going to see that too little too late. But moving on, you guys, the group does have a dinner after all of the dysfunction. And people are wondering when they get together for dinner where Danny is. And it comes out that Janet, because of course she mentioned it in front of everybody, that she saw him chugging tequila in the pantry and she believes that he's drunk. Now, for those newer to the Valley, the reason that this is a concern, Danny is married to Nia. Nia and Danny have 3 kids under the age of 3, and 2 of them are twins. They both work full time and they're doing this show. So Danny does not drink as often as these people are trying to make it seem. They're trying to make it seem, in my opinion, like this man has an alcohol problem, can't handle his liquor, doesn't know what to do. When the reality of it is, he's locked up so much, he just goes so hard and don't know where to stop and is just trying to catch up with everybody. But they're making it seem like no one's comfortable drinking around Danny when Danny has drank around these people before, prior to this event. So when you go on vacation is a concern. So the concern comes from the fact that Jasmine says that he grabbed her thigh and asked her to go get daddy a drink, which we knew about. But he also grabbed Jasmine's girlfriend, Melissa's ass, her 4-year girlfriend that ain't going nowhere. And they said they made them uncomfortable, which I can understand. They're valid in that. But he did apologize to them. And I'm just kind of grossed out by Janet spreading this icky narrative. And she did this last year with Kristen and the whole situation with Jesse and Michelle's marriage. And look where the shit is at now. So I'm just kind of like, whenever Janet speaks, it's messy. And especially as a new mom, Janet, you have the audacity. So they move on. And well, first, before we move on, how do you feel about that, James? Because Danny has apologized to them on camera and off camera multiple times. And it was a 1-issue incident. And it wasn't even like he was trying to like get at them. It was inappropriate touch, but it's like, dude, you're in your friend group around all your married and couple friends. So I'm like, they're dragging it. But how do you feel about it?
Like you, they're dragging it. And I feel like, to me, I wouldn't apologize anymore. If I've already apologized, we're around each other in this circle, and your constant measure is to continue to bring it up or subtly bring it up whenever I do something that may not be in my total character, then I would just stop fooling with y'all altogether, because you're not going to keep punishing me for something that I've already apologized for. You've already accepted it. I thought we had moved on. Why are we still bringing this up? So I don't know. They're strange. I'm still trying to learn everybody, y'all. So I'm sorry for my answers are a little bit dry.
Oh, you're not missing anything when it comes to this situation or with Jasmine and her spouse at the very least. And the reason I say that is because Jasmine hardly had camera time last season. She just comments. I feel like she's just here because they wanted a person of color, because Bravo realizes now that they can't keep putting all white cast out, it seems like. But I would have rather had an all-white cast instead of someone who doesn't blend and has no storyline and wants to cry about some shit that happened last season that she got an apology for and claimed to be cool with. Now you're suddenly saying you're triggered because of something someone else is saying. But if you had any inkling of trauma or triggering from that situation, then why did you come on the trip, Jasmine?
That's
just wondering.
That's a very good point, because it's like, why did you come on the show?
If a grown-ass man drinking grabbed my girlfriend's ass and grabbed my thigh and asked me to call him daddy and to fetch him a drink, I wouldn't have my girlfriend around him at all. I said, babe, I don't feel comfortable with that. Stay at home. I don't get it. So I feel like this cast, which we're going to get to in a second, I feel like they pick on Danny and Nia because they are the nicest people there. I also think they're one of the strongest relationships. And I think many of them are jealous of it, and we'll get into that in a moment. So the group plays a game because of Kristen, because, you know, Kristen get drunk and she's calmed down a lot, but she get drunk and like to start shit, in my opinion. And they play a game where they ask each person who their hall pass would be, not in the group, but just in general in life. And Nia then acts like she doesn't want to participate, which let me think, what's going on in your relationship, Nia? You don't tell us nothing, but you're in a relationship with this woman and you've been with her for 4 years. The way they describe it, it sounds like she wasn't that interested and now suddenly is interested. And then you got her around people who cupping her at the ass. So I'm looking at Nia and them like, what in the world is going on? Because why are you so against saying who you use for a hall pass? I didn't think, I just felt like that was weird. But they push her, and, you know, she does end up giving an answer. I'm sorry, Jasmine. Now, Nia ends up walking away from the group, and as soon as she walked away, they started talking shit about her husband, Danny, and his drinking. Now, I do appreciate Luke and Kristen for defending them. They're like, we're on a trip. We're all drunk. Like, so what if he got too drunk? Why are you talking about them when they're not here? And Brittany, her dumbass, gets upset, like genuinely upset, like as if Nia has done something to her, and says that they don't tell us any of their business. And I've been on here telling everything. Brittany, you've had no choice but to tell everything. Your existence and relevancy in the press is not because anybody likes you. It is because you married the star of Vanderpump Rules in its prime. We don't give a damn about you, girl. I mean, no shade. Show me somebody who do fully care outside of this group. She's not interesting, and she looks terrible in the face after all the work that she's had done. And she's misshapen because what's his name? Jax paid for her to get her titties done, but he did not pay for the upkeep from the looks of things. So I'm just wondering, like, Brittany, why are you so tickled at this? Your relationship is a joke. So yes, they could keep shit to themselves because that's what couples do. Also, Brittany's husband makes a fool of her, points out things about their relationship. But you would think Brittany would understand, because for James, he didn't watch season 1, but in season 1, James, Jax on the last cast trip was trying to paint Brittany to look like an alcoholic because she was getting way too drunk, and reminded everybody in the group that she drinks so much that she missed an appointment to get their son assessed because it's clear that their son probably has some form of a developmental disability, which is fine. But you know how it feels, Brittany, and was crying about that last season, and now you want to go and pick a fight here? What are you doing? Like, and I don't like that they waited till Nia left. I didn't like that at all. So Zach ends up going to tell Nia that everyone was talking about her and who was saying the most. And he explains it was Brittany and Jasmine that did the most. Now, Jasmine's anger, though I feel like you shouldn't have come on the trip if you had that encounter with Danny last season, I can still understand it because you were physically violated by a man asking you to call him daddy, touching you in a sensual place, and then grabbing the ass of your girlfriend. So I can understand Jasmine feeling away. But Brittany has no fucking argument. She has no reason to be upset. So probably James's favorite part of it is Nia goes down and listens after Zach informs her that they're talking shit. And she confronts Britt calmly. And you know, it's funny, they knew they were caught because I saw them look out their eye, but they continued to talk shit as if Nia was not in the room. about her husband. And this is where Brit's jealousy shows and her white girl tears came, because Nia looked at her and she's like, okay, tell me, what did I do? And Brittany's like, it's not fair because y'all like to paint yourself as pretty perfect. Why can't you just admit he was drunk? And Nia says, he was drunk. Okay, now what else is wrong? He was drunk. So she gets what she wants, and Britt is still looking mad. And Nia looked at her. She was like, so you want me to act more upset than I am in my life because your marriage has fallen apart? I said, Nia, let them remind you that you may look like them, but you not them. Because we have to remember, Nia did not grow up like the rest of these privileged heifers. She did not. She worked for what she got, and her husband did too. And the other thing, when your marriage is a mess, people don't understand. You can't attack others. So I was happy that Nia did say something to them. And I feel like people always, Brit's so sweet, we need to cuddle her. Fuck you and your tears. How are you in tears because your life is a mess and you're mad that someone else isn't showing something? Married people fight. Even if you're not married to someone, if you live with someone, I'm sure here and there you argue. And that's whether you're in a relationship, a straight one, a gay one, whatever it is. That is expected to happen. If you don't argue, that's actually a red flag, because arguing is how you learn who's really in your corner or not. And then you learn if your spouse knows how to healthily argue, which is a thing. She was nagging at him about little stuff and trying to get to the trip because he had to work. But it did not give that they're having problems in their marriage. It didn't give that. So for Brit to try to make it seem that way, as well as Jasmine, was just gross. It was gross. So how do you feel about that ending of the episode, James?
I feel like they need stuff to do.
Yep.
They need stuff to do. Because to me, I feel like, why are y'all disinvested in these married people's problems, especially Jasmine? Because you're not even with your woman in a committed relationship, at least it's not that we know of, because y'all have been together 4 years according to you, and y'all are not married, like Mrs. Beth said. So what are you doing? First off. And I feel like for people to prey on a couple to have problems, that's some sick shit. I'm sorry, that is. That's very sick for y'all to think that for them to have problems, that means y'all need to glorify the problems because it just shows that they're human. And I'm glad that she put them in their place, because it's like, yeah, we go through problems like everybody else. We're not exempt. We're not, So I'm glad that she did that. I'm glad that that's how that happened. But girl, this show is crazy.
They're all over the place. These
Yeah,
people.
they are.
They're all over the place. But I do like that. Like, look, we only 30 minutes in. Not too much happens in these episodes to where we have to be here so long, but just enough happens to where you're entertained. So I really do wish that Bravo would put the same effort that they put into shows with casts that look like this into other shows, such as Housewives of Potomac, Housewives of Atlanta, even Housewives of Beverly Hills. But so far, the Valley's doing okay. I'm actually liking Kristen this season. I like Luke this season. I like Nia. I like Danny. Everybody else I don't really care for, but they're entertaining. So we will be back again next week, you guys, to go over the next episode of The Valley. We appreciate everyone watching. This is also a new show that I've been doing, so I appreciate everyone for supporting it. The link to James's channel is in the description of the video. We will be back live I'll be back live to do Never Ever Mets on Sunday. James has a planned event, so he won't be there. And then we'll be on his channel on Monday to go over Somebody's Son, as well as The Housewives of Atlanta and Love and Marriage Detroit. So other than that, we will see y'all next time, and hope you have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.